NBC has announced plans for a spin-off to the hit series Suits, which will be set in Los Angeles. It will focus on Meghan Markle's character's struggle to balance her legal career while also caring for an unemployed immigrant.
Colin Jost just unloaded on Meghan Markle during SNL. And this wasn't some soft jab. It was brutal, calculated, and hit harder than anyone expected. At this point, it's not comedy. It's a coordinated takedown. That trade deal punchline? Ruthless. He basically framed Meghan and Harry as the unwanted exports America's itching to return to the UK.
If you had lunch with Meghan Markle, you'd be stunned at how dumb she was. Not because she's black, because she's an actress who was on the show Suits.
Turns out Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will still get paid millions of dollars for doing absolutely nothing.
The crowd went wild, but the bite behind the joke was ruthless. And then Jost didn't stop. He went after Harry with a brutal Elon Musk comparison, saying, "Harry's squandering his time just like Musk does online, both making reckless moves while sitting on mountains of success."
Harry starts describing this one date with Meghan as the night, let me quote you here, "Me and M pulled the pin on a fun grenade. I actually started rooting for Prince Andrew."
The crowd went wild, but the bite behind the joke was ruthless. And then Jost didn't stop. He went after Harry with a brutal Elon Musk comparison, saying, "Harry's squandering his time just like Musk does online, both making reckless moves while sitting on mountains of success."
Gone on Oprah, I didn't know. I had no idea how racist they were. It's the royal family. They're the original racists.
They should hope that the kid looks more like Meghan than Harry. No offense, but Harry kind of looks like the guy who played Screech, may he rest in peace.
And trust me, this roast didn't just sting, it wrecked everything. The real power behind that joke? It didn't just land, it unraveled their carefully crafted fairy tale, exposing the cracks beneath the shiny surface. What was once seen as a fairy tale romance now felt more like a carefully staged production, and that punchline flipped the script entirely.
President Trump also announced a new trade deal with the UK that will reopen British markets for American companies. All that Britain demands in return is that we keep these two.
Instead of the fairy tale narrative of a Hollywood starlet marrying into royalty, that punchline twisted the story, painting Meghan as the one stuck carrying a washed-up husband who contributes nothing. Brutal doesn't even begin to cover it. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, Michael Che stepped in, throwing a chilling jab at their wedding, ripping apart what that marriage truly symbolized.
Electric cars, he's going to Mars. Why isn't he even involving himself with Twitter? It would be like if the Prince of England gave it all up just to marry an actor from Suits.
What made it so powerful was how he stripped away the glittering crowns, the castles, and all the royal fantasy, leaving Harry exposed for exactly what he is without his titles. Just another privileged guy coasting on family wealth. That hit the audience hard, like a cold reality check, straight to the face.
NBC has announced plans for a spin-off to the hit series Suits. It will focus on Meghan Markle's character's struggle to balance her legal career while also caring for an unemployed immigrant.
But the roasting didn't stop there. Stephen Colbert's piled on, taking aim at their cringeworthy pet names and childish behavior. The sarcasm was thick because everyone knows how embarrassing their M and H branding is, especially to adults who don't need ridiculous nicknames to feel relevant. Then, Jimmy Fallon joined the roast, zeroing in on Meghan's content, tearing into how pointless, confusing, and downright boring it all is. One sharp jab hit the nail on the head. Her public image is all hype, no substance, and no clear direction. It's like they took something basic and blew it into a circus for no reason. That's the entire Meghan and Harry brand. Spectacle over substance, with nothing to show for it.
Earlier today, Suits actress Meghan Markle married some unemployed dude who still lives with his grandma.
The late-night verdict was clear. These two aren't royalty anymore. They've become the punchline of the entertainment world. And the mockery didn't stop at SNL. It quickly spread across every major stage, with host after host lining up to take their shots at the so-called power couple. Jimmy Kimmel came out swinging with one of the most biting critiques of their dramatic exit from Britain. He pointed out the glaring contradiction. If you're fleeing racism, why would you run straight into America, a country notoriously known for it?
Meghan Markle has finally revealed why she and Prince Harry call each other M and H.
And he'll say M and you'll say H and your friends say M and it just is a thing.
It's a thing.
And do you both love it?
Yes, and I like nicknames a lot.
What could it be? A mystery for the ages.
The crowd was stunned, then erupted in laughter as the hypocrisy was laid bare for everyone to see. But Kimmel wasn't done. He dug even deeper, comparing Prince Harry to the actor who played Screech on Saved by the Bell, a savage shot that completely stripped away any remaining dignity Harry might have had left. The image was seared into the audience's mind, and it dominated conversations for days. But believe it or not, the most brutal blow didn't even come from Kimmel. It came when Joe Coy took the Golden Globe stage and delivered a Netflix joke so sharp, it exposed the one thing Meghan and Harry can never escape. They offer zero value to society, yet somehow continue to rake in millions from Netflix for shows that flop harder than a forgettable pilot. It's the ultimate hustle, getting paid for failure.
This is what happens when you bring the first black woman into the royal family. She looked at Harry and she's like, nigga, you need to get a job. You a grown-ass man. You can't still be living in your mama's house.
Then Trevor Noah stepped up, delivering a shot even colder than before. He called out Meghan for essentially dragging Harry away from his family, like she was booting a broke boyfriend off her couch. The crowd couldn't hold back their laughter because Noah absolutely nailed the power shift. Meghan didn't just marry a prince, she turned him into her personal project. And as brutal as that was, it wasn't even the lowest blow. Stephen Colbert locked eyes with Harry and dropped a truth bomb so raw about being a good man that the prince nearly crumbled right there on live TV. But we'll dive into that gut-punching moment in a minute. First, you won't believe how the mockery took off once even more stars jumped in on the roast.
I was curious what they did with Harry and Meghan's wax figures, so I found a museum employee who's temporarily storing.
Conan O'Brien took their Madame Tussauds wax figures and turned them into a full-blown comedy bit. At first, it seemed harmless enough, until he twisted it into something completely off the rails. He began joking about Meghan's dainty hands and Harry's soft lips, making even their wax statues seem like easy targets. The whole thing spiraled into absurdity, pushing every limit and leaving no room for subtlety.
Harry said racism was a big part of their decision to leave, which you know things are bad at Buckingham Palace if they came to America to get away from racism.
It wasn't fitness on their minds. What everyone was really concerned about was their peaceful escape getting disrupted by Meghan's relentless need for the spotlight. Alexandra Daddario made it clear she was fed up, admitting that her personal retreat was on the verge of being taken over just because Meghan was chasing another headline. The frustration was palpable. Meghan shows up once, all staged for publicity, and suddenly the place turns into a circus, with paparazzi and fans swarming in, robbing the genuine guests of their tranquility. That's how toxic her presence has truly become.
Oliver, you have generously offered to keep the wax figures of Harry and Meghan safe while the royal family drama gets worked out.
Yeah, that's correct. And if I may, I would just like to say that I'm definitely not using the wax figures for sex stuff.
Then Ricky Gervais took the stage with a story that further demolished Harry's image, laying bare his sense of entitlement. The punchline highlighted just how little respect he has for ordinary people. Ricky painted Harry as a billionaire who balks at spending a few hundred on entertainment tickets, while the rest of the world pays their way without complaint. The joke landed hard because it exposed the absurdity of someone born into privilege still acting like everything should be handed to him. It was a direct attack on entitlement, and the audience ate it up. But John Mulaney didn't just roast Harry, he completely obliterated him with one of the sharpest, most accurate takedowns ever delivered on stage. By this point, it's impossible to ignore the bigger picture. Harry and Meghan have fully transformed into entertainment's favorite punching bags. From late-night shows to animated parodies, every corner of comedy has come to the same brutal conclusion. These two are open for endless mockery. No one is holding back anymore. The real issue isn't whether Meghan and Harry can bounce back. The reality is much darker than that. Their reputation is in tatters, and with every new joke, every fresh jab, the damage becomes irreversible. At this point, it's not about redemption. It's about whether they can ever reclaim any shred of respect or if their name will forever be tied to ridicule.